Hi there, my name is Todd Miller, better known as Tightwad Todd. I created an 11-part video series as an introduction to personal finance. This is the ninth video in the series, and today we're going to talk about how you can achieve your goals faster. But before we do, just a little bit about me. I am a financial coach, and I help busy professionals just like you transform a six-figure income into a seven-figure net worth. I'm the founder of tightwadtodd.com, where I post videos, have a blog, and send out a weekly newsletter. So if you like my content, please subscribe. And I created this video series to help everyone get better with their finances, no matter where you are today. This is an overview of the entire video series. So if this is the first time that you're joining me, I'd recommend that you start with video one and work your way through the entire course. But again, today we're going to talk about achieving your goals even faster. So by the end of this video, you're going to understand the aspects of personal finance that you can and cannot control. You're going to recognize the money metric that's most responsible for your long-term success. And then we're going to talk about 5 different strategies that'll help you achieve your goals faster. One of the reasons that people get hung up on in personal finance is that they focus on things that they cannot control. For instance, you can't control the health of the economy, the state of financial markets, or politics. It's important to be aware of these things, but there's nothing that you can do to influence them. However, you are in control of your income, your spending, and therefore your savings. And your savings is the most important money metric that determines your long-term success. If you're saving money, then you have money to put towards your goals and to invest and let that money compound over time. The first way that you can reach your goals even faster is by cutting your expenses. And when you cut your expenses, you spend less money and therefore have more money to save and put towards your goals and invest. When it comes to spending, it's important to realize that hedonic adaptation is real. And this is the idea that we return to a baseline level of happiness no matter what happens in life. So, for instance, if something really good happens, you maybe ride a high for a couple of months, but then you work your way down to a baseline level of happiness. And the same thing happens when something bad happens. You're maybe down for a couple of months, but then you slowly work your way back up to a baseline level of happiness. And this is an important concept to understand in personal finance because a lot of the times we get lured into making a big purchase, such as a home or a vehicle, thinking that this purchase is going to transform our lives for the better forever. Well, it usually only lasts a couple of months before you return to this baseline level of happiness. But now you have this large monthly payment that you have to keep making, and it takes up a large amount of your income and affects your savings. Also, it's important to experiment with the expenses that you cut. You may want to reduce spending in one area or cut it out altogether just to see what it's like and see how it feels. Maybe it's something that you miss, or maybe it's something that you don't notice at all. And keep in mind that you can always add the expense back into your budget. Also, it's important to start slow and to avoid feelings of deprivation because when you start feeling deprived, then you start making mistakes with your money. And one of the great things about cutting your expenses is that you can start doing it today. Another way to achieve your goals even faster is by increasing your income. When you increase your income and keep your spending the same, you end up saving more money, which again you have to put towards your goals or invest and let it compound. However, when it comes to increasing your income, it takes more time than cutting your expenses. For instance, you may need to invest some time in order to get a new certification or a new designation. It may take some time to negotiate a raise, or maybe you even want to look into changing employers or careers altogether. Also, investing for cash flow will help increase your income and therefore your savings. And sometimes you may want to look into starting a side hustle or a business as a way to increase your income. The next way that you can achieve your goals even faster is by reducing the fees that you pay. When you can, you want to pay bills in full. For instance, with auto insurance, a lot of the times you're given the option to pay monthly or quarterly. However, when you pay the bill in full, you usually get a reduced rate. And along those same lines, when you pay a bill in full, you don't end up paying interest, and interest is just a fee. You also want to look into reducing late fees. It may be helpful to list out all of your bills and when they're due and put them on a calendar so that you know when they need to be paid and that you can prioritize one over another. You shouldn't be paying any sort of an annual credit card fee this early in your financial journey. You want to avoid ATM fees or maintenance fees. In this day and age, if you're still paying any sort of a maintenance fee, it's time to switch to another financial institution. Also, overdraft fees. And the one that most people don't realize that they pay are investment fees because a lot of the times these are made up in expense ratios and that sort of thing. So you don't notice them coming out of your account, but they are. And over time, these investment fees can really add up and compound into a large amount of money. So it's important to be aware of what kind of investment fees you're paying. Another way to achieve your goals even faster is to continue your financial education. You may want to look into setting aside just 10 or 15 minutes a day so that you can read a book or take a class. I know I really enjoy going and meeting with others and going to meetups or joining a club where everybody is talking about what they're doing and what's working well for them or what struggles they're having. You can learn a lot from other people that are on a similar journey. And I would also encourage you to look into working with a financial coach or another professional. Another thing that you can do to achieve your goals even faster are to avoid common pitfalls. And pitfalls hinder your progress towards your goals, and sometimes they can even cause larger financial difficulties. So, some pitfalls to avoid are that you want to make sure that you have an emergency fund. Not having an emergency fund can cause real distress in your financial life. For instance, if you lose a job or there's an unexpected bill that comes your way, how are you going to pay for it if you don't have an emergency fund? Most people are going to go into debt in order to do these sort of things and have to pay a high interest rate. Another thing is not having adequate insurance. An interesting statistic is that roughly 66% of bankruptcies stem from medical bills. So it's important that you have adequate health insurance as well as auto and liability insurance. Now, there's also other common pitfalls, but we're going to cover those more in the following video. So that's a wrap for this video. As I alluded to earlier, coming up next, we have common pitfalls. I hope to see you in the next video. Thank you so much.